Hi friends, hope you are doing fine. So, as a part of our RHL journey, today we are going to do some important activity. We are going to do installation RHL 8.2, the latest version on our workstation, VMware workstations. So, we are going to install our uh, new virtual machine on latest version on Red Hat 8.2 versions. Today we are going to install that. And before going to install, let us understand their all important aspects of Red Hat 8. What are the prerequisites? What kind of systems we want? So here you can see that Red Hat 8, the current version, the RHEL is kernel version 4.18, and RHEL 8 is that introduced the application streams. So what should be our minimum requirement? At least 4 GB RAM, 20 GB of unallocated disk space, 64 or 86 ARM systems, or you can install, and apart from that, XFS file system supports MUKT based on DNF, NTP. So what are the things we need to configure that step by step we will go and we can do the installations. And actually it is based on Fedora 28 distributions. So that we will see here, and what exactly we can download the RHEL 8 ISO file from the Red Hat repository like SSZ download section, and we can download DVD ISO image or only the boot ISO image. If you have a subscription, you can download only boot image and you can do the installations. And we have a several options. Before installing RHEL 8, we need to understand what are those options we have. So after downloading the ISO file, you can create an installation bootable media if you have a USB or a DVD, or if you have a support of Red Hat subscription, then you can also go through that. And once you install Red Hat 8, when the system boots up with the installation media, you will get the following screen. This screen, and you have to choose install Red Hat Enterprise 8 that time. Once you select that, it will ask you which language. The language section will come. So these sections we need to provide the appropriate language. And after preparing the RHEL 8 installation, we need to configure the time zone, KDEM, software selection, networking and host name, security policies, and system promises. Before you need to properly configure all these sections. And once this configure, giving this installation, you need to configure the time zone, which time zone it is coming on, which in which state, and you need to enable the Ethernet. So to configure the IP address and host name, we need to configure the that particular IP, and we need to partition that particular disk, whatever the disk we have selected, that need to be properly give that particular disk partition. We need to configure the partition in the proper order. So let us suppose we have 60 GB free space on that. So boot should be 2 GB file, slash should be 20 GB, where should be 10 GB, home. So this is the way we can do the partitioning. So according to your convenience, you can do the partitioning. You can mount that particular point and give the allocated space, how much space you want on that particular point, and you can click and add the mount point. You can create operating systems on the top of logical volumes also. So you have to do the partitionings according to that. And after doing the partitionings, you can, if you don't have the subscription, then you need to select the packages, which are the packages you are going to install. If you have a subscription, then you can install directly from the Red Hat sites. So that we will see. and what is the system support, system purpose that we need to provide, and the Red Hat service level agreement is usage. And after giving all these informations on let us installations, we can begin our installations, and we can configure our root password and one user creations that we can do. So these are the steps we have for Red Hat 8 installations. So make sure we should follow the proper procedure, and all prerequisites should be met before installations, and we need to configure the systems in proper order. We have to follow the architecture, whether because I'm going to install on x86 64-bit, and I will follow these rules, and I will configure whatever the necessary things which is there. I'm going to configure time zone. I will enable. Since I have the subscription, so I will not select the software selections. And one important thing in Red Hat sites, if you go to Red Hat sites, we have a proper procedure for performing a standard RHEL installation procedure we have. I will also upload this file, so it will give you the proper information what exactly what are the method, because there are various methods to do the installation: network installations, media installation, DVD, package configurations, everything. Every depending upon their requirement level, everyone is doing their installation. So so totally this guide will give you the proper idea of installation procedure and all the important things whatever which is needed for that. And we can download Red Hat from this site. You can see here we have a installation media boot ISO file. So you can see download the Red Hat Enterprise Linux. In the products section, we can download Red Hat 8. We have the DVD ISO image boot.iso. I have the boot.iso file. Here you can see I downloaded this file, and we can do the installation. So let us start the installation. So I'm going to create a new virtual machine, and I will install this operating system later. I will do the installation later. First of all, let me create the skeleton. So what exactly I'm going to do? I'm going to do Linux. What exactly, which version I'm going to do? I am installing Red Hat 8 Linux. I will choose, and name of the virtual machine, Red Hat 8 Linux 8, and where you want to create the machine. I want to create a machine, so we have to give the proper path of that. So here I given the path wherever what I want. So depending upon your requirement, you can choose. And what should be the disk size? Disk size I store in one single disk. So I am taking 20 GB at least. And customize hardware. So we can choose the memory at least 4 GB. So you can take minimum requirement is that like, and if we want to add the hard disk, so we can add the hard disk here. So I want to add hard disk 4 GB memory processor. If you want two dual processor, you can enable the dual processor. And installation CD DVD media. I have an ISO image over here. The boot file ISO image I already downloaded. I already told. So that path we can give, and we can and we can do that. So once we have that machine over here, we can go to edit virtual machine sections here, and we can see that all the informations we selected, processor, memory, we already have all the informations over here. Later you can edit these things. So currently I am taking all those things here, the minimum requirements and whatever the thing which is there. And once we have, and since we have given the ISO image over here in the file, boot.iso image I have already given. So once the system will start installation, it will check. So here now I am going to play the virtual machine here. So I already started. So here you need to select that particular install Red Hat 8.2 latest version. So you can see that right now the installation is going to start and booting that particular machine from ISO image. That things actually we can skip right now. I don't want to check. So the first screen is coming from the Red Hat Enterprise Linux near 8.2. The first language selection. In the language selection, we need to select its language and say continue. So in the second screen, we in Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8.2 installation, we have option of localization, software, system, and we will first of all go to disk. Select the disk. Here you can add the disk here, and we need to. You can add SKC target or any kind of disk multiplier devices, same devices. that you depending upon the requirement we can select the disk here. So we need to check if you want to rescan the disk, that you can also do the scanning of the disk. So as we can see that the disk has been detected over here, and we have whatever the disk actually we have created. Now the disk is appearing over here after rescanning and adding all the proper methods. So here in storage configuration, we can select the custom, and we can full disk boot loader, and here we have several options over here. So once we do done, here we have the option to create a partitions. Here we have a whatever the mount points here, we can do the installation on LVM based, or in provisioning we can do standard partitions. So I am selecting the standard partitions. We will create, and as per our discussions, whatever we discussed in our slide earlier, we will do the partitionings in the proper method. And as we need to do the all the partitionings in proper order, because this step is really very important. So let us suppose I am clicking on this plus button. So first of all, I will create a boot slash boot. At least it should be 1 GB. 1 GB. I am creating this mount point, and after that I will create a mount point for slash root. I'm creating it for at least 10 GB at this mount point. Now you will see the available space, whatever the space here we have. So I'm creating another mount point for slash home, 1 GB. Depending upon your requirement, you can create. And here now available space is 8 GB. So I will create another mount point for slash where. At least it should be more than 5 GB. Now what is the 3 GB space we have? So let us add this space to swap. So for 3 GB I am giving to swap at this mount point. And later if you want to modify anything, you can do the modification before the installations. Our device type, standard, the file systems, mount point, everything we have given here. So right now actually I'm doing the installation on the standard partition. You can also do the installation on logical volumes also. So now we have given all these informations here. Now you can see it will accept these changes, whatever the summary of changes you have. It will, you need to accept the changes here, and after that you can enable the KDump automatically solve enable, and you can do the network and host. So here I'm going the network host installations here. So here no network devices. So we need to check with here server host name. We need to bond any kind of devices you want to add. That devices you need can here you can give the local host name. So here, since I have a IPv4 send, so I can add the N1 devices over here. So there is some problem in network. So let me check here. From if you have a problem, you can go to manage and virtual machine setting. From there, you can check that particular whether it is connected or not. So it's connected here. So I already checked here. Rescan that particular disk. My processor, everything is connected. Everything. So now what we can do, we need to enable this networks over here. So let me check that particular settings here. Let me enable that networks not connected. So we need to enable. So right now it's in disconnected mode. To I will enable it. So now you can see this is a netted networks network administration now. So it's once you activate, it will take the default route and IP address from my network routers. And here I need to give my host name server2.example example.com, and we will say apply. After that said done, and once you do that, connect your networks to your accounts. I have a Red Hat accounts. So let me connect my account here so that my it will directly connect it to my repository. So right now I'm connecting. Okay, register your network. So I will register this machine to Red Hat satellite server. And once while registering, it will show me that this host has been registered. And after that, I can directly download repositories or any kind of software from Red Hat server, Red Hat satellite server. So right now I'm attaching that my subscription here. So you can see that my system is directly connected from Red Hat. And now once you've done this step, after doing this step, you need to do, you need to check the KDump. So KDump is enable, core dump is enabled. Now we need to check here one more thing, uh, the time and date. We need to check that our it should be set to our geographical region. Right now, I am setting it to India right now. So in Asia, Calcutta, and network time is on now. So it will take the default timing. So now we have set all the necessary things. We have completed the installation destination also. Earlier we configured that disk, and we also uh, did this part. And since now we have completed most of the default thing, and we have configured the disk here. So now what we can do, we have completed this step earlier. So now security policy, we will check the default security policy right now. So later you can configure that. And after doing all these steps, we need to check anything which is missing here. Wired networks, configure. We can configure the IP address over here. IP address is already given in the default routes. IPv4 mode setting we can see here. DHCP. Now, after doing these steps, we need to check. Now we are ready for installation. So we can start installations. And once you you can see that installation is started. Now we can configure the root password over here. So I'm configuring my root password. I will configure one more password. I will configure one more password here. Full. So you can see that right now the installation is going on right now, and it will take a lot of time. You can see that right now of 46 MB, it will 15% completed. So this is the way actually we are doing the installation of our Red Hat 8.2 installation we are doing. So today you have seen it will take another half an hour at least. So since we have already completed our all steps, whatever we discussed over here, you can see we discussed about all the prerequisites for file system, and since Red Hat 8.2 is a Fedora 28 distribution and Linux based kernel version. So here we have already discussed like what should be the prerequisite and what is the download step. You can download the ISO file from that side. You can do boot installation, and if you have a repository, then you can register your system while installation also. We did that step, and we have completed all these steps. So we prepared all the steps, installation steps, and we configure everything whatever we discussed over here, and we created mount points, everything. And I hope these steps will give you the like a proper idea for Red Hat 8.2 installation, which is a hybrid cloud, and you can do that part comfortably. And I will upload this Red Hat performance installation part, and we can see that this thing is really very helpful. And the steps, whatever we mentioned, we already discussed. We also did the implementation parts, and this process will take another half an hour right now. So right now I'm closing this session, and I will check all these parts. And thanks for watching. So I'm closing this session right now. Thank you. Thanks for watching.